Let's talk about academic conferences. Have you ever left one just feeling completely overwhelmed, like it was all just a blur of talks and coffee breaks? Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful strategy to turn that chaos into a gold mine for your next big research paper. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're surrounded by all these brilliant people. There's a sea of information, but it's so easy to just feel adrift. You end up just wandering around, collecting free pens and a stack of business cards. But what if you could navigate that ocean of ideas with a crystal clear mission? This is where it gets really interesting. It all comes down to a choice you can make. You can be the passive tourist, just kind of observing, taking it all in. Or you can become the strategic explorer, actively hunting for the little seeds that will grow into your future work. And this explainer, it's all about how to make that switch. So this is where our quest really begins. And it doesn't start with booking a flight or packing your bags or anything like that. Nope. It starts with a fundamental shift in how you think about the whole thing. This right here, this is the key. The whole game changes when you stop thinking of a conference as a place you go to present your finished work, and instead, you start seeing it as the raw material for your next project. It's about laying the groundwork, not just showing off the output. So, how do we actually put this new mindset into practice? Well, it starts with phase 1, the reconnaissance. Think of this as your pre-mission briefing, and it happens long before you're even thinking about what to pack. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is actually super simple and focused. Don't try to read everything from everyone. Just pick one key researcher who's going to be there, read, say, 2 or 3 of their most important papers, and your only goal is to find one single gap, one little limitation, or one unanswered question in what they've done. So you do all this prep work, right? You target a researcher, you dig into their work, you're hunting for that little gap. And it's not about becoming an expert on them overnight. It all boils down to preparing one single, powerful thing. That's it. You're not trying to come up with a dozen things to ask. You are laser focused on crafting the one intelligent question that proves you've done your homework. A question that immediately shows you're not just a spectator, but you're a fellow researcher. You're engaged in the real conversation. And this is a brilliant example of what that looks like. You see, this isn't a simple what is question. It shows you get their work, you know what X and Y are, and you're already thinking 2 steps ahead about its limitations and where it could go next. This kind of question screams serious researcher. Okay, so you've got your intelligent question locked and loaded. You arrive at the conference ready to go. Now we enter phase 2, the hunt. This is where you switch your focus to actively listening for opportunities while you're actually in the talks. So what are you hunting for exactly? You've got to tune your ears to these key signals. You know that future work slide at the end of a presentation? That's a gold mine. When an author themselves admits a limitation, or they call a problem open or unsolved, they are literally handing you a research topic on a silver platter. And pay close attention to folks from industry, because they're often talking about real-world problems that desperately need solutions. As you're listening, your notes become your treasure map. You're not just summarizing what they're saying, you're writing down your critical thoughts. Every time you find yourself thinking, but this approach doesn't consider X, or wait, that data set seems way too small for that claim, you are literally writing the sentences that could form the introduction to your next paper. Now, finding those research gaps is awesome, but it's only half the battle. To actually act on them, you need ammunition. And that brings us to phase 3, the treasure trove, where you start systematically gathering all the resources you're going to need to build out your project. And what we're collecting are called research artifacts. I love this term. These aren't just little souvenirs from the conference. They are the actual essential building blocks for your future research. We're talking about the papers, the code, the data that will let you build on the work you're seeing. So, what's on your collection list? You're grabbing the PDF of every interesting paper, you're snagging links to the code on GitHub, you're writing down the names and sources of the datasets they used, and you're getting any info you can on how they evaluated the results. This is your toolkit. And you need a system to put it all in. Please don't just dump all this great stuff into a random folder on your desktop. Be strategic. Create a dedicated folder for the conference. Inside that, have separate folders for papers, datasets, and tools. And this is critical. Keep one central document, like this openproblems.md file, where you log all those research gaps you hunted down. This folder structure isn't just for storage. It's your personal research launchpad. So let's bring this all home. This whole structured quest,
From the reconnaissance to the hunt to collecting treasure, it completely transforms the conference experience. Your next big research adventure doesn't have to start in some lonely lab. It can kick off right there in the conference hall.
Look, if you take only one single thing away from this explainer today, let it be this. It's all about that shift in perspective. A conference isn't the finish line for a project, it's the starting block for many more. It is the most fertile ground you will find for figuring out what to do next.
The minute you shift from being a passive tourist to a strategic explorer, you give yourself a mission. You stop just learning about what's already been done, and you start discovering what needs to be done next. So the only question left is, what intelligent question are you going to ask to find your next paper?